Hello and welcome to our newscast. I'm Hwang Jie, live from Seoul. North Korea has once again attempted to launch a ballistic missile but failed. The test was detected over the weekend, marking the regime's 7th so far this year. Kwon Jang-ho starts us off.
At around 12:30 p.m. Korea time on Saturday, North Korea attempted to launch a single Musudan intermediate-range ballistic missile. According to U.S. Strategic Command, the launch was detected near the northwestern city of Kusong, but it apparently failed shortly after takeoff. It's the 7th Musudan missile to have been tested this year alone. Only one of them has been successful. Seoul strongly condemned Saturday's launch, stressing that it was yet another violation of UN sanctions.
This latest provocation is an attack on the UN's authority. This reckless behavior will only strengthen the resolve of the international community to increase pressure and sanctions on the regime. We must make Pyongyang realize that such actions will only make it more isolated and will bring more economic difficulties.
The launch is thought to be a reaction to the joint South Korea-US naval drills that concluded on Saturday, as well as a comment made earlier this week by Daniel Russell, the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, who said if North Korean leader Kim Jong-un were to carry out a nuclear attack, U.S. retaliation would mean he would immediately die. Pyongyang called the statement a hostile act, hurting the dignity of the regime's leadership and going beyond the limits of tolerance. Kwon Jang-ho, ARIRANG News.
The number of people in Korea who work 17 hours or less a week hit a 5-year high in the third quarter of this year. Statistics Korea data shows the figure came in at around 1.3 million in the July to September period, up 91,000 from a year earlier. People in that category tend to work 3 or 4 days a week or have shorter office hours. While the country's overall employment in the third quarter rose slightly over 1%, that of those who work part-time shot up over 7% on year. Now, a big blow to the so-called Islamic State as another of its Syrian strongholds has fallen to rebel forces. The Turkey-backed rebels said Sunday that they seized control of the symbolic town of Dabiq with barely a shot fired. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the rebels moved in as ISIS fighters withdrew. Watchers say it was a small but significant victory for the rebels. Dabiq has played an important role in ISIS propaganda since it was seized by the group's fighters in 2014. ISIS says the town would be the site of a great battle between Muslims and the West that would herald the apocalypse. In the latest in the fight against ISIS, Iraq's prime minister has announced the start of a military offensive to retake the country's second city, Mosul, from the Islamic State group. The Republican candidate for the U.S. presidency, Donald Trump, has complained that the elections are rigged at many polling stations without giving any evidence. Until now, Trump has claimed the elections are rigged because the media are biased against him. In a tweet posted Sunday, Trump said, quote, "The election is absolutely being rigged by the dishonest and distorted media pushing crooked Hillary, but also at many polling places. Sad," end quote. Trump's running mate Mike Pence also claims the election is rigged, but the vice president nominee said he and his running mate will absolutely accept the results of the election. The race for president is still close ahead of Wednesday night's third and final debate. According to a new ABC News Washington Post poll of likely voters, Hillary Clinton leads Donald Trump by 4 points, which is within the margin of error. Clinton has 47% to Trump's 43%. An experimental probe is expected to land on Mars this week as part of a joint European-Russian mission aimed at exploring the red planet's atmosphere and searching for signs of life. Kim Mo-kyun has more.
The 600-kilogram probe named Schiaparelli separated from an unmanned craft called the Trace Gas Orbiter on Sunday after its 7-month journey from Earth. The European Space Agency announced that the probe's entry, descent, and landing demonstrator module all went according to plan.
We have a confirmation that the separation has occurred, and we have also confirmation that the EDM switched on its transmitter and that the radio telescope in India could pick up the signal. So this is very good news on the EDM side.
Schiaparelli is expected to enter Mars's atmosphere at a speed of 21,000 kilometers an hour. Once on the surface, it will take images of Mars and conduct scientific measurements, but its main purpose is to test technology for a future European Mars rover. Its mothership will remain in orbit to analyze gases in the Martian atmosphere to help answer whether there is or was life on Mars. However, the latest signals received from the orbiter did not contain data on the lander's onboard status.
So it's an unexpected configuration of the spacecraft. The spacecraft is still there, it's transmitting, so I'm quite confident that in the next hours we will understand more.
The latest mission, led by ESA along with Russia's Roscosmos Space Agency, is a second European attempt to land a craft on Mars after Britain's infamous Beagle 2 vanished on Christmas Day in 2003. Kim Mo-kyan, ARIRANG News.
And that wraps it up for now. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Hwang Jie, and do stay tuned to Arirang for more news updates at 10 a.m. Korea time with Mark Broom, and goodbye.